Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Hold the Mic. We are your hosts. I'm Ryan Shead. That's Ian Sherman. Brother, how are you doing?
Man, I feel good. I feel
I
good.
do too.
I feel like I'm ready for summer, full swing.
Yep.
I was walking in this heat yesterday, and I swear to God, I lost about like 20 pounds. Just literally, I had to do that video like 3 times because I was sweating, like sweat was dripping in my mouth,
The
sweat
promo.
was dripping in places. Oh, that promo, I was hurting.
Mm,
I damn
mm.
near cussed out like 3 cops because I walked by the precinct. I was like, get the fuck out of the way. I'm trying to film here.
Don't you see what I'm doing?
Don't you see me? I'm a baby ass
That's so
influencer. Let's
funny.
go. It's great though. How you guys doing? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, man. Happy to see you all as always. Appreciate the support. As we keep talking about, I'm seeing so many downloads from other countries, which is insane. So I
Yeah.
just want to again give a shout out to all our international followers. We're trying to get our shit together here in the United States. So just we're gonna need a few more months. Bear with us. I don't
I don't
know.
think we got it, man. I think we just as mediocre as this government. Let's see what happens.
Oh man, I know. It sure feels that way.
That's all
But
that.
speaking of, I told you I had a surprise for you
Yeah.
when we got on the show.
Yeah,
And the
come in the green room.
surprise is that today marks an anniversary.
What?
Would you July 9th of 1868. Can you tell me what happened?
July 9th, 1868. Is that some Harriet Tubman shit? What's up? What
I
are we looking
mean,
at?
I mean, the 14th Amendment was
Oh!
ratified,
Oh,
granting citizenship to
damn.
those born and naturalized in the United States.
Damn. Well, this one hurts.
A little bit, doesn't it?
This one hurts. This one hurts.
Yeah,
Shit.
this one hurts. Stings a little.
Stings a little.
Now, for those
1868. We're talking about this shit still.
still, well, I mean, we're literally
As in
pissing
debate.
on it
When I
at
say
this
talking
point.
about it, I mean we're going at yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, Ryan.
Um,
Damn,
and
that was a good surprise. Okay.
thank you. So, if you're new to Hold the Mic, then you may not know that we like to educate on this show. I say a lot, we're not trying to start a cult. We just like to fact check one. And this is something that you're not going to hear a lot from MAGA because they don't want us talking about things like the 14th Amendment and the Constitution and the correct interpretation of said words. So, in that effort, I'd like to read a little bit of it for you. So, Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So, just that, there's four more sections, but just so far, what do you think of that? And where we are right now?
I think that first sentence alone clarifies everything.
Yeah.
You know, all people. Doesn't say all citizens. It doesn't say all Americans.
All
It's
persons born or naturalized in the United States.
and the fact that we're talking about now trying to eradicate naturalization, trying to weaponize that, and what gets me is that Twitter in chief over here, he thinks he's really governing with just sending out little memos and little notes. Like he sounds
Yeah.
like an angry grandpa. You know what I mean? Like he really doesn't.
And did
It's
you
almost
see
like
the
one of those.
grammar and stuff in them on top of that?
It's bad. It's bad.
Like, who
A lot
is
of this is
writing
bad.
these?
A lot of this is bad. Well, AI, they don't know how to do this stuff. They
No,
don't.
AI doesn't even write that bad.
Hey, man, I didn't say what setting they had it on. Okay, so it's like those things that it's just.
Hey,
it's
big
bad.
brother, love you.
What up, Big Pat? And hello everybody that's in the chat.
Yeah,
It's
love you
it's
guys
one of those
too.
things. What up, though? What up, though? Gotta love the community. Anthony C, Stephanie,
yeah.
Peggy, love Peggy. Yeah, it's one of those things that when you look at the context of how the forefathers wrote it, and then what we're looking at now,
Yeah.
where it's up for interpretation, and then of course the Supreme Court is just really just in this circle jerk for him. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and again, the Supreme Court continues to be one of the worst things to happen to this country. And when I say that, I mean Trump's appointments. So let's move on to Section 2, because I really do feel like, on top of it being the anniversary, it just really does fit into everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking primarily right now of the videos that we saw in California. I believe it was yesterday, where they had the cops and whoever
McCarthy
going,
Park.
yeah, going through the
Yeah.
parks and stuff. And it's like,
Yep.
are you guys for real?
Yeah. Yeah. Show of force. Yeah. And I believe allegedly that operation was called Excalibur. Like it's really
Really?
it's really cheesy. They're really cheesy. And but I'm sure that they ate that thinking it was dope. They were like, oh
Oh,
man,
I'm sure.
we call it Excalibur. It's like,
And they say the left can't meme.
well, it's really good. It's really good to just kind of see mediocrity
Yeah.
leading the pack. But no, but shout out to the mayor for just peacefully walking up there and be like, get the fuck out my park.
Yeah,
You know,
Karen Bass really did. She showed up.
Karen
She
Bass
showed
ain't
up.
playing around. She's not playing around.
And thank you, Anthony, for bringing this up too, because I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning. A lot of us have seen the devastation in Texas and the flooding that happened there. We're now seeing some flooding in New Mexico. We're also seeing flooding in North Carolina. And this is not all due to some crazy company doing what is it? Seeding, cloud seeding, or whatever it's called. That's been completely debunked, by the way.
Has the Jewish space lasers been debunked yet?
Still waiting on that.
Okay.
Still waiting on that one.
Let me know when that comes in. Let me
But
know.
no, all joking aside, this is tragic. I know that it's over 100 lives lost. I believe over 20 of them were kids.
Yeah.
And you've heard me say this over and over again, Ian. But us as parents, we're not supposed to bury our kids.
Right.
Like, we aren't programmed up here to watch our kids go on the ground. And so that transcends everything, politics and everything for me. So I'm just, really thinking about the families and everybody that lost, not just kids, but all loved ones. That's a lot of families affected. And I hope that I hope the state of Texas and also the federal government can look at this and learn from what seems to be a few mistakes that were made long term that led to this.
It's more than just a few. Looking
Yeah.
at some of the court documents that happened back when Obama was president, and he was offering them the funding necessary for them to implement the sirens and everything. And for those, if you guys want to look it up, the judge talking about it, them making jokes about it, saying that this thing is dead in the water.
It's hard not to make it about politics when you read that.
Hard.
You know what I'm saying?
You sit here and you're like, the kids don't deserve this, first and foremost. And you and I can 100%
That's
agree.
as innocent as it gets.
Kids don't deserve this. They can't even vote. They didn't vote for this. And when you do look at, the ramifications of your parents, and it's like, for what? Owning libs or all this, it's tragic. It's really heartbreaking when you sit here and you think to yourself, like, you continuously vote for a party that says that there's no such thing as climate change, yet you don't do anything to fund when the funds are there to protect yourself from any situation. It doesn't matter, red, blue, none of that. We're American. How do you protect your constituents? Plain and simple. That's your job. How would I be in emergency management and be like, I didn't know there was about to be an emergency? It's like, that's your job. Your job is to think about what emergencies, the what ifs, and you plan accordingly. And all I could think to myself is that this is just, this is Trump's America. How did COVID happen? They dismembered the
deregulation.
The deregulation, but they removed specifically the pandemic department that was implemented by Obama to look into the world to see what's out there, what could possibly come here. How do we prepare for it? And it's like, and then they say, well, how did we know that would happen? You got rid of the department, and then here we are, fast forward again. Here you are just slashing things and getting rid of people.
And you have weather people out there saying we can't do our job anymore because we don't have access to this. And that's directly tied to budget cuts from X, person. So it's just kind of like, exactly.
And so, I mean, but people who say that this is not the time, fuck you. This is the time. This is the time to talk about how tragic this has become.
Yeah, it's always not the time when it's a Republican in office, but when it's a liberal, then it's always the time.
They want to talk about trans athletes. I'm not interested. I want to talk about this. This is what we need to talk about.
Yeah, 3 trans athletes and whatever. But let's go back before we move on to the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think it's very important for people to hear the wording. Like you said, the section 1 says all persons born or naturalized, and that last part too, shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, which is what a lot of us have all been saying. It's always gone to, where's the due process? Where are the warrants? Where's the paper trail that led to this said person being picked up and now being deported? You can't. What metric are you using?
Yeah.
So section 2, representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. But when the right to vote at any election or choice of electors for president and vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state, or members of the legislature thereof is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state. Notice how it says the word male. Being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion with the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age. So it's like, so where's your interpretation here? Because if you're starting to read that, it doesn't say anything about women. And the way that they interpret the Constitution, they look at it as, see, the founding fathers, they said male. It needs to be a male.
These great leaders, this is what they were doing. Oh, gee willikers. Yeah.
Section 3, I won't read the exact wording, but Section 3 basically goes into it and says that no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president, vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or other under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or any officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. So for those of you in the back, 14th Amendment, Section 3, would be a really nice tool for us to use to get rid of Donald Trump.
I mean, well, the reality is that was literally Trump. That was J6. That was everything about it. I mean, that is crystal clear. Special shout out to Buns, by the way. Shout out to Buns.
Hey, Bunny.
She has entered the building.
It's always a good time when Bunny walks in.
Always a good time. No, so it's one of those
her emails.
But her emails.
Exactly.
But it's one of those things that, when you look at when you look at the situation where we failed, it's right there, crystal clear.
Yeah.
He took the oath. Here it was January 6th. How did we not just wrap this up right then and there? This should have been, just like I keep going back to South Korea, within 3 months of January 6th. This should have been wrapped up and been done. I don't care about an impeachment or nothing. You had it right then and there, 14th Amendment, and you see that it's under attack. And then, of course, all the other powers. But we'll get into that at a later time.
And Section 4, we're already here. We might as well finish because, again, I want our listeners, send this to your Trumpies, your MAGAs. Send this to anybody who doesn't understand or has never even heard the words. Maybe they don't like to read and they just want to hear somebody say them. I'll even say them in my ASMR voice if you want. Section 4 of the 14th Amendment, the validity of the public debt of the United States. So let's focus on this. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned by neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slave. But all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void.
So the money that Jeannie Thomas put up for this insurrection, does that not speak to that? I'm just saying, man.
I mean, you and I seem to interpret things very similarly.
It just seems like black and white.
It does
You
to
put some
me.
money into some shit to steal some shit. You look like you got your hand in the cookie jar. So I don't know what else we're doing.
Stephanie, wait, there's an ASMR fair. There's gonna be. I've seriously considered doing an ASMR Ryan Rundown ASMR where I do the top
Ryan
news stories,
Rundown.
but I do it in my ASMR voice,
Ooh.
like your really low bedroom voice and your whispers. You start. Yeah. I have it all planned out.
Wow. Wow. Did I inspire you from last episode with buns? Is that what happened?
Well, you did inspire me, but I can't tell everybody how.
Oh, it's
I
so
told you it was
good.
going to be good tonight, bro.
Oh,
I
it's
told
so
you it was going
good.
to be
It's
good.
so good. It's so good.
Speaking of good, I want to bring up the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins.
Okay.
I'm just going to roll the tape because I don't.
Kick that shit off. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I don't. I don't even know where to start with this woman. I mean, it's just more of the same though from this.
It's
What's it
expected
called?
from this administration.
Oh, dude, for sure.
There will be no amnesty. The mass deportations continue, but in a strategic way, and we move the workforce towards automation and 100% American participation, which again, with 34 million people, able-bodied adults on Medicaid, we should be able to do that fairly quickly. Thank you. There will.
So, my question becomes, first, I have two. What is the Trump administration's definition of able-bodied? Number one. Let's start there. What is their definition of able-bodied, do you think?
I don't know, but Sarah Huckabee looks like she on Ozempic in that back, in that
Oh,
blue dress.
for sure.
I couldn't even. Had to double take her. I go, wait a minute, she is really standing out in that. Able-bodied. You know, I guess they don't realize how many people are on Medicaid and they're working.
How many people need it because they're not getting enough coverage from their
Well, not
jobs?
even that, but how many people actually already have jobs and are doing exactly the. It's just like having the argument of following the proper protocols to become a citizen. People are doing it, and you're literally picking them up at the courthouse where they're doing it. So it's this thing where it's like, what do you mean able-bodied? Yes, they're able-bodied. These are the people. People at Walmart are on Medicaid. They can't. They're not getting a livable wage.
Yeah.
So what is the word tongue that we're trying to use here to get out of their fuckery?
Yeah. Like I said, if that doesn't tell you what their whole goal here is, their whole goal is to kick everybody off the system and make them so desperate that they have to go take these jobs. Like she just told you.
That in child labor. That's, I mean, like literally Sarah Huckabee.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Go look it up, people. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has already signed executive orders and shit and things into law saying that kids can go work.
Yeah.
So Ian's
young
100%.
age. That's why I look at her. I go, she is, and she had children in the room when she signed it.
And they looked miserable.
I sat here and I go, why? Why do we accept this weak leadership?
Like, what parents said, yeah, please take my child and use them for this propaganda to send them all working in the fields?
It's not even please. These are people who are probably at the bottom of the totem pole who are suffering already. And they're only, you know what I used to think about? And this dawns on me more. When you hear that term, poor decision, do you think of it like not a smart decision, or do you think of it as a last resort decision? Because I've really started changing my perspective on that. Yeah. Oh, it's a poor decision. Well, where did that come from? Where did poor decision come from? Like, I'll do anything to get out of this shithole. Like, and if that's giving my body, if that's doing whatever, if that's is that a poor decision, or is it, oh, he made a dumb decision and that's a poor decision? And I really thought about the perspective of that term. Oh, it's a poor decision, because people are taking jobs that they in any other situation would happily not take, i.e. a child who is now doing a meat factory, cleaning these machines, and children getting injured, mind you.
Yep.
During the night shift, because that's when they're there. So is that a poor decision? I don't know. Food for thought.
Yep. And before we move on, two things. 100% American participation. 100% American participation.
Bro, slavery coming back.
That phrase should,
like,
I'm telling you. And it ain't
slavery's
gonna care
coming
if you black, if you white, it's gonna be all.
If you pull, that's about to be
it's
yo
like that Ralphie May joke. Like, we ain't from the, like, we all poor. Like, it ain't black and white.
Man.
We all broke.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's about to be a chain gang. They about to line everybody up. It is, and they about to start with you and I.
Be leading that bit.
If anybody ever questioned, are you two in sync? Play this clip.
Telling you.
Play this fucking clip. We about to be in the same cell. It's about to look like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence in life. That's what it's about to look like.
I'm telling you, our podcast should have been called Jinx.
Oh my God, man. So good. So good.
Oh man.
That's the after hours.
And of course automated, which the word automated should always equal jobs lost.
Right.
Like anytime you hear the government say we're heading towards automation, that's their way of saying we're going to get rid of this whole private sector here.
That's right. That's right. And look, guys, it's been happening since the automobile. You know, like I really want people to think about the transition. There used to be a horse and buggy. Yep. And then the Model T rolled out. And you know how many blacksmiths lost their job? Like, I just want people to think about this. Yeah. This is the natural growth of things, progress, whatever you want it to be called. But the natural progress of technology. Model T served its purpose. Here we are now moving towards EV. And now we want to have the same debate because people, you know, put all their money into gas stations and whatever else, as in the old infrastructure.
Yeah.
You don't think there was a whole bunch of blacksmiths who are literally trying to lobby against?
Take your money that you're making off the gas station, go build some turbochargers for the EVs.
Start thinking ahead. It's like people literally got twisted up, not realizing.
Speaking of Ian, I have a business plan I want to send you.
Let's do this. Let's do this. We're calling it Jinx, just so you know.
Yeah, exactly. Jinx recharging.
Here it is.
There's so much to talk about. Anthony's putting like everything I want to talk about in there. But
Anthony, you're fucking up his timeline.
You're fucking up my whole thing. But no, we are gonna. I'm glad
you play the marshmallow game with him. Is that what it is? Hey. You get one marshmallow now. If you hold on to it, you might get two. Hold on, Anthony.
But this one we will definitely play because it just. I can't believe this dude's our president.
I want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. That's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well, and they come from.
So, do you happen to know what the national language in Liberia is?
First off, that looks like my uncle. So there it is, man. There's the family. It's like, here we are. Same shaped head.
And the man he's talking to, just for context, sorry. So the gentleman that was speaking in the beginning of the video, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. So this gentleman right here is the president of Liberia.
Right.
And so that's who Trump is speaking to.
Can we talk about the brother right next to him, though? Look at that face.
Him?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like he wants to come across like fucking Black Panther.
He does not have a poker face. He does not.
Like this bitch right here.
Yeah. And homegirl right there looking at him like, you got to do this, don't you?
Yep.
You see it.
Can we get out of here?
Queen Mother over there. Yep. Here we go.
So it was just like, the first thing I thought of is like, this racist motherfucker, like, it's just so telling. It's so telling of how he views people that aren't white.
Yeah.
Like, again, I'm not even going to tell you. Go Google what the national language in Liberia is.
Yeah. And that's probably because of
it's the same
colonization.
As here.
Right. You know what's wild? I just had this conversation with somebody. When people talk about colonization, how many languages are spread across the globe? You know what I mean? Like when you hear the word colonize, oh, they're colonizers. They're this, that. I really want you to think about this. How many nations speak Hebrew? You know what I mean? Like you really think about this. English is all around the world. Spanish is all around the world. You know, I don't hear anything Sudanese. I don't hear anything that's Nigerian. I don't hear any of that. I don't hear any Hebrew that's spread around the world.
Not as common. No. Yeah.
No, it's not non-existent. There's in one location that you may find it, right?
Yep.
spoken in proper tongue. This asshole literally, not only how he said it, them, Ryan, what did he call the president of Japan?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. What did he call him?
Mr. Japan.
What?
He literally called him Mr. Japan. Mr. Japan here. That's what he called the president of Japan. That, I want you to think about this. If Vladimir Zelensky was in the White House and said, "Mr. America here, Mr. America, Mr. America," I really
he
want
probably love it. He probably actually love that.
The level of disrespect.
And that too, he demands like all this respect, but yet he shows nobody respect
At all.
That's why, like I said, man, I'd spit in that dude's face. The fuck out.
But I
you wouldn't want to meet the president? Not that one.
No. I grew up personally hearing you speak well. And I've always made sure I added, I appreciate that, motherfucker, just to let them know that it exists.
You want to know?
You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you something, and I've even made this mistake, because I think I even said it to her. But my wife sounds white on the phone. You hear her on the phone, and she just doesn't have any type of dialect that gives
Ebonics,
away
like
it just gives away anything. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, could be white, could be black, could be Asian. Shit, I don't know. That's the type of voice she has.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how many times people have met her and go, wow, you sound different than you look, or just different versions of that.
Right.
And one day she told me how much it actually bothered her.
100%.
And I didn't know. And it was just kind of like one of those, just one of those things that I learned along the way of our marriage. And it's like, okay, which, makes complete sense of why, why. But yeah, so I've seen that, and shit, I've even said it myself. It's just kind of like shit, but to see the president of the United States not even know, like, you don't even know that the country you're sitting down with, that they speak English.
He's not here, man. This dude.
Oh, he's not even on this fucking planet.
He's so gone. His brain is mush.
I think Elon actually sent him to Mars. We just don't know it.
His brain is mush, man. Like, he's an old, frail man that people, they put on a pedestal, and it's like, when are we gonna really talk about it? He can't speak in long terms because it just goes everywhere, and it's just slop. Yeah. And it's like, okay, he's entertaining on a rally because that's him feeding off a crowd. When he has to be in a board meeting and it's actually with people smarter than him, he's trying to dominate in a way, and everybody's just looking at him like, what are you talking?
That's a really good point. Yeah.
I mean, like that, like, we're all here not to be entertained. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't need entertainment from my president.
Well, like, what does that even have to do with anything? And that's the biggest thing that I think about. Like, if you were to say that to him privately, that's a different conversation, right?
Yes.
That's a totally different context of like, where did you learn? Like I'm just amazed. I'm really amazed by this. Like, I don't know anything about culture or anything. Teach a moment.
Exactly. And I'm really glad you said it. And I really don't have much to add. I think what you're saying is dead on. There's a big difference between, and I'm going to equate it to this. I've talked a lot about the transgender community and how people online have given me the space to educate myself and become better and, actually become an ally. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't ask my questions publicly. I ask my questions privately now because several reasons, but I've learned that if you're really asking the question, not because you want attention in somebody's comments,
right,
but because you actually want to learn, I think there's a big difference between, hey, let me ask this question in the comments and see if everybody agrees or likes it, versus let me send them a direct message just between us and say, hey, is this okay? Or can you educate me here? Do you have resources that I can go read? Whatever it is. And I have found that, 8, 9 times out of 10, that the response is very positive because of that, because I took it, offline, so to speak, and just made it about, hey, I just want you to educate me. And then hopefully I can take that and spread it around in my own way, my own voice. But, I need education from the source, and we talked about that the last episode of, when do transgender people realize that something's off?
Right.
And if you make friends with some, most of them are going to tell you they figured out somewhere between 8 and 14 that they started figuring out that something was off.
Right.
And, then when you factor that into 988, this great suicide hotline resource that has been put into place in our country that I'm very thankful for as a bipolar person, it was very disheartening to hear that they were getting rid of the LGBTQ resources on that line. So if you call the line, if you hit 1, it's going to take you to veterans. It's going to take you to a department specifically for veterans. If you hit 2, it's going to take you to, somebody. So it has a list like that. And there used to be an option for, if you are, in the LGBTQ community, hit 5 or whatever it was. And that is no longer there. And they have fired everybody from that department.
Who understood and specialized with that kind of care.
Exactly. It's like if a bipolar person calls in, they can talk to anybody. But if I'm on staff that night, it's probably going to do them a little bit better to talk to me because I understand what the process is like.
Right.
And so I just think it's the same kind of thing. Like if you take away the support for these people, and if they're kids, and you're talking about being pro-life and all this other crap, you can't be pro-life and be taking away resources from these kids just because you don't agree with what they're going through. They're still going to go through it whether these resources are there or not. The difference is, are they going to go through it and come out the other side because they were supported and had those resources? Or are they possibly not going to make it because of the hateful people out there that would rather punch down on these folks in this whole community, instead of accept them and learn and find out how we can be more inclusive of them? But we all know that that's the agenda of Trump and the right, is let's find out how we can be the most inclusive group possible.
Which is how I challenge the All Lives Matter, slogan. Is it actually that you stand by that, or was that message always just ingrained in anti-blackness? And that's the thing that you really have to hold somebody to those truths, right?
Yeah. Because
it's like, if all lives do matter, why are we giving up on certain people that are in our society?
Yep.
No matter what, they're all American. This is the part that blows my mind, where we're sitting here. It's not red or blue. Hell, Bruce Jenner has proved that you could be a Trump supporter and be trans. Like, they are there. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. And I'm not saying that to be so disrespectful to Bruce's decisions. I'm just making it very clear of what world Bruce lives in today, because it's not about what world they want to come out as.
Yeah.
They are going against their own interests. And so why do I need to look at this individual in any other way and respect for the fact that you are literally shitting on every person that is below you in the ladder? Yep. And there's the part where it's like, you're untouchable, but Bruce, you're being touched. There's nothing around it,
Nope, you're 100% right. And speaking of ridiculous things, Stephanie brought it up. So if you hadn't heard, we're now going to be having UFC fights on the White House lawn.
I mean, just roll the tape. We are in idiocracy. Just roll the tape.
I don't have
it. It is literally, and I'm saying that in the context of.
I was like, I don't have it.
You don't need to have it. Everybody who knows. We are quickly on chutes and ladders heading straight down to that low.
It feels like a game show. Feels like a game show.
It's all bullshit. It's just all this. What are they going to take from us? While this is being aired, while this is being promoted, while this is all out there, suffocating
what is Congress
going
to be fucking us?
What are they actually taking from us? You know what I mean? It's the game, and it's just like, I don't have time for it. I really don't.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So yeah, I thought that was a little crazy. So get ready for that. Pay-per-view UFC fights from the White House lawn. Can't get much trashier than that. And you know what it reminds me of? Remember when Joe Biden? Remember when Obama was doing the White House press thing,
Yeah.
And they were going through the jokes, and he said, "Yeah, we got a picture of Trump's White House," and he put it up with all the lights and shit and made it look like Trump Tower. I'm like,
It's about to happen.
here we go.
About to
It's
happen.
gonna look like that.
It's about to happen.
I can't wait to play those two side by side and be like, yeah, here was the
Called it.
joke. Here's the reality.
Here it is. That and The Simpsons. I bet you it's all on point.
And the other thing that you may or may not have heard in the news is that churches can now endorse politicians from the pulpit without fear of the IRS removing their tax exemption status.
They need to be taxed. It's official. They need to be taxed. There's no end.
That's fucking crazy. Like
They need to
that
be
completely erased the line between.
Complete separation of church and state. They need to be taxed.
So
That
again,
is-
people, for those listening, literally when we talked about the separation of church and state, they just erased the line between those two.
Yeah.
That's literally what they just did.
Well, Ryan is on the
and
campaign.
correct me if I'm wrong. Was it a Supreme Court ruling that did this, or was it a federal ruling? I don't remember which. And there was a couple of rulings today.
I couldn't tell you. This is news to me right now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other news, I'm sure somebody will put it in the comments. Linda,
Anthony, let us know.
do you know how to pronounce this woman's name?
Yacarino.
Yacarino.
Yep.
Linda Yacarino has stepped down as CEO.
The puppet. Oh, excuse me, CEO.
Well, I mean, she was brought in for damage control. Let's call it what it is.
She was the face of the situation, and she would say one thing, and Musk would do whatever he wanted, and she'd be like, well, "That's what I meant to say." It's like it was
Yeah,
bad.
it was bad.
bad. And
It
she
was
came
bad.
from actually like great stock. Like this was like a thing where they're like, "Yo, powerful."
Oh, I
woman
remember when she
CEO,
came in, everybody was like, okay, maybe he's not gonna.
gonna right the ship. She's
Yeah.
gonna be the one that's gonna keep him at bay. Nope, he blew that hole real quick.
12 months, and she's probably been wanting to leave for 6.
Oh yeah, yeah. I might
So,
say 8. The way that shit
probably.
went down.
Yacarino's future at the company had been uncertain for months. Musk merged X with Grok chatbot maker XAI this spring, fusing two of his technology bets and making the social media platform part of a broader AI-focused company. The high growth potential of artificial intelligence became more important to investors than the tighter margin social media business overseen by Yacarino. When X hired the former finance chief of Tubi as the social media company's chief financial officer late last year, he and Yacarino often butted heads, people familiar with the relationship said. X is contending with fresh content moderation challenges, including recent episodes in which Grok posted racist and controversial comments in response to users. XAI said Tuesday that it has taken action to ban hate speech before Grok posts on X. After being made aware on Tuesday of a number of anti-Semitic posts, several of the posts have been deleted. Musk hasn't directly addressed the most recent malfunction of the chatbot. At 1:51 a.m. Eastern, he posted from his X account, "Never a dull moment on this platform." Reza Banki was a hire supported by Musk and effectively replaced Yacarino, previously appointed head of finance for the company. Banki pressured Yacarino over costs, specifically over the money she was spending on content deals with celebrities for shows that appear on X. One of the people said, so that would be like the Tucker Carlson show, Alex Jones, all those celebrity deals that they were making. Yacarino told people close to her that the recent return of some advertisers and the merger, which made X a smaller revenue contributor, made it a good time to depart. X is expected to see ad revenue growth for the first time since the takeover this year, according to research firm eMarketer. So, yeah, kind of interesting tenure she had there.
It's hey, he always comes at the right time. Also, it was the IRS. It wasn't an actual ruling. IRS. They said that they said that they will not go against churches. So when you run for president during the campaign, not only tighten that ring, but I want you to also start taxing every church.
And just remind everybody, it was not okay for Joe Biden to hire 80,000 IRS agents to go after tax frauds.
Yeah. That's a real thing.
So
That's a real thing.
Oh, and
So
by the way,
Yacarino-
this is also going to make laundering money through politics so much easier.
Oh my God, it's so reality. There you go.
So speaking of other dumbass Trump things, the TSA will no longer be requiring you to take off your shoes during security.
Oh, thank God. Because you know what? Some airports didn't do it. Like I would like shoes. They're like, nah, you're good. Walk through. And I'm like, so we just don't care anymore? Like what's going on? Like what's the rule change? What's happening?
So I'm going to say this sentence, and I feel like I'm going to be saying a lot over the next few years.
Love it.
Every regulation is written in blood.
Yeah.
Okay?
What was it? Can you remind us the story?
I mean, there were several, but I do remember the foot bomb, the guy that had the bomb in his shoe and got on a plane at Detroit Metro Airport, actually.
Yep.
So, and that's not the first. There was a reason that we had to take our fucking shoes off. So unless they've come up with some miraculous technology that now x-rays my shoes when I go into that little hee-haw thing that I have to put my hands up.
I love that. They're just collecting dick pics from that. You know that, right?
Oh, totally. But it's like, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, now we're making America great again. You don't have to take your shoes off at the airport. Great. So the first time that a fucking bomb goes off in a plane again because somebody had one in their shoe, let's remember that it was Trump's deregulation that led us here. Because, oh my God, we can't be bothered to take our shoes off when we go through the airport. Trust me, people, I've seen some of your fucking feet, and I would love nothing more than for you to keep your shoes on. But I am a little more concerned about terrorism at the moment than your fucked up toe jammed ass toenails and shit.
Agrees. Amen.
Knows his stuff. That's why
he knows. He's mad with you, man. Really? You got things to say?
So speaking of, let's just continue going down the shit list. The Education Department is dismissing civil rights complaints at such a rapid clip this year that former officials and advocates are concerned about a core agency function amid Trump administration plans to make deeper staffing cuts.
Get out. We didn't see that happening.
Yeah, no.
What? Education?
Huh? What? Civil rights complaints? What?
No. But doesn't it have to go through the AG? Aren't they really pushing for that? That you personally can't sue? It has to go through your AG to sue?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's wild to see what hoops we will have to jump through to get anything done.
Well, I mean, and it's like the Education Department, does it even exist anymore?
No. I thought it was bad.
So they're just settling cases like it's like, well, it doesn't exist anymore. What are you going to do?
Oh my God.
So moving on to the next shit show, Trump meets Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu at the White House.
Two criminals hanging out.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Washington and held high-level meetings, including with President Trump and congressional leaders during tense Gaza conflict times. 3 people have now nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in the last 8 weeks, the most recent being Netanyahu.
Wow.
So we have war criminals trying to get Nobel Peace Prizes for felons.
Wow.
That's where we're at, everybody.
Wow. Well, technically, isn't
2025
also, us attacking Iran without proper protocol? Isn't that a war crime?
It could definitely be considered a war crime.
Could that be considered?
Well, we actually talked about that on Brian Shapiro's show today. He had me on his show. If you don't go,
shout out to Brian.
Yeah, Brian Shapiro, great guy. Looking to have him back on the show. He's a good friend of the show here. But he had me on this morning, and we were actually talking about that. And sorry, what was the question again? I just read the outline.
Yeah. What attacking a country without Congress.
Iran. So what we did with Iran was we did a preemptive strike. Mm-hmm. And another way of saying we bombed them without any fucking real reason to do it. Right. So we came up with some half-assed justification. And it really is the same playbook that was used by the Bush administration, 2002, 2003 timeframe, with Colin Powell going over there, You know, and remember, folks, Colin Powell tried blowing the whistle and saying, whoa, guys, let's hang on. Let's make sure we get some more verification here before we go doing this. And before he could even get that sentence out, Bush was already at the podium, you know, saying we're going to do a war on terror and they have weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
So, you know, we're kind of going through a similar situation. The only difference being is Bush at least went through the process of getting approval. He may have lied his ass off to get it, but he still got the approval.
He got it.
Trump just went and fucking bombed Iran and then said, well, we did it for Israel because we can't let them get the nukes.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, what evidence did you have? Because Netanyahu's been saying that since the 90s.
Right.
So did you finally find some evidence? Because Tulsi Gabbard just said 2 months ago that there was no evidence that they have that.
And he said, I don't care what you said.
And he said, I don't care. And by the way, have you seen Tulsi Gabbard's ass since?
I have not.
No, you
haven't.
Not.
I think she's hanging out with Jill Stein.
Yeah, she's about to be jobless. It's insane. And then pivot to now Trump is siding with Ukraine.
Yeah.
And deciding to send them weapons and other things.
But he hasn't sent anything. There was a halt on shipments. And he's like, I don't know what happened. I didn't say anything. And it's like,
so
are you not the president of the United States? Well,
and that's the question that I want our listeners and really the American public to ask themselves, which is, okay, let me rephrase this. First thing I want you to do is I want to remind everybody of when President Zelensky came to the White House and that whole shit show that happened.
Right.
And J.D. Vance and Biden, goddamn. J.D. Vance, Trump, and I believe Pete Hegseth was even in the Oval Office for that. And they just berated President Zelensky of Ukraine, saying, you need to be more diplomatic. You need to come to the table and talk to Putin, blah, blah, blah. And if you don't remember, again, please go watch it. Zelensky sat there and looked them both in their face and said, you don't think we've tried this? You don't think we've tried diplomatic solutions? Every ceasefire we sign with them, they break. So, you know, you want us to try something that we've already been trying. And then they sat there and tried to tell him about his country.
Right.
Well, now
it was Rubio uncomfortable in the
fast forward 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And now Donald Trump is saying literally almost word for fucking word the same thing that Zelensky said, which is Putin isn't willing to come to the table and make a deal. And because of that, now we're going to sit there and send. So basically, he sat there and chastised Democrats and Joe Biden for doing exactly the same fucking thing that he's going to end up doing because he finally saw everything that everybody else saw and realized that that's the only move.
Yeah.
And then, so here's where what Ian was talking about comes in. So Trump says all that, says we're going to send this stuff, and he's authorized stuff to go to Ukraine. And then reporters come in and say, the Pentagon stopped that and halted that shipment. And it turns out Pete Hegseth is the one that made that approval. Yep. So which one of you is running the country right now? Mm-hmm. Does Donald Trump actually have control of the Pentagon? Because actions from today would lead me to believe no. And then my question becomes, if we know that Trump is in bed with Russia and he starts doing things that are against Russia interests, are the other politicians that are in bed with Russia going to go ahead and do it anyway without Trump's go ahead?
Right.
Think about that one.
Yeah, the layers of this. And the reality is, at what point was Hegseth drunk and, you know, making these decisions?
Yeah. So
because he is going to be quiet about like, well, I didn't really talk to the boss about this. It's really ridiculous to see.
And he's sending Patriot missiles. Like, he's not just sending guns. He's approved Patriot missiles to go to Ukraine.
Yeah.
So he's completely on board now with
upping the ante, because Biden wouldn't even send a lot of this stuff.
Nope.
He's like, let's temper this.
I could be wrong, but
he didn't want them to have anything that they could strike Russia. So if these Patriot missiles, what are they called?
Yeah, I don't remember if Biden did or not.
I'll look it up. I don't know.
I don't know if he did or not. So of course this has upset the MAGA base because they've been America first, stop funding Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. So they see this as yet another campaign promise broken, as they should.
Right.
But again, it goes back to what a lot of us have been saying. Trump is making promises he's not going to be able to deliver on because it's just not reality.
Yeah.
And now
Biden did, just to give you a context, Biden did
send?
offer. Yeah, he did give them.
Okay. So Biden did we offer or did we send?
We gave.
Okay,
Biden
we gave
administration
Patriot
provided
missiles.
Patriot missile systems and missiles to Ukraine.
Okay.
Yep.
So Trump is basically just going to continue sending what we've been sending, basically.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Helping them defend. I mean, you're literally talking about somebody defending themselves. David and Goliath.
Yeah. But again, it's like clearly Putin is shitting in Trump's Cheerios and Trump's starting to get tired of it.
I'm telling you right now, man. He keeps posting all the nude photos of Melania through state TV in Russia. Like it's really weird, whatever their relationship is.
I still think she's
the
handler.
Go look it up, guys. Go look it up. I'm not when
I don't care to see her naked. I've seen it like once.
I don't care about that, but I mean in general, like
just the acts of it. Yeah.
Just the acts of it. It's weird in a way of like
it's a way to undermine him. It's a way to undermine him.
Complete. But it's like it's an interesting power play. And then of course Russians are ending up that were in Putin's government are ending up with a bullet in their heads. They just found an individual who just was fired from Putin. He apparently took his own life, and it's you're starting to see Putin's cabinet start to fall out windows and yeah, oh yeah. You know, you're starting to see certain things happen. So you know that there's a power struggle that's possibly happening within Russia as well from this.
What? Secretary of Transportation is now also the interim administrator of NASA? Oh, fuck my life.
This just came through? This is just official?
Well, somebody posted, Amy posted it, so I'd have to go look more up on it, but good Lord.
All right. Well, you know, that's what created the rift with your boy, Elon and Trump. He wanted to control the head of NASA. He wanted one of his close friends, and Trump and him went at it, and that's what led to this whole, girl fighting.
I don't know how to take that, Bunny. Bunny says, I know everyone keeps telling them women to step aside because we can't win, but I'm really tired of listening to dudes in politics measure their peens and continuously not get anything done, just saying. I mean...
Offense taken. I thought we had a
But you know what the reality is? I'm going to tell you the reality. The reality is when we talk about Democrats that we want to see more of, just talking from a standpoint of the way they approach their social media, the way they get their messaging out, who do we always end up talking about? Jasmine Crockett, AOC,
yeah.
Ayanna Pressley, these type of women. We're talking about women. We're talking about women of color. And it's like, yeah, let's get more of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, when you have the 14th Amendment is worded with the word male in it 15 times.
It's wild. It's wild when we like to be, holding America's Constitution to candlelight. Literally trying to hold on to that that's not the amendments.
I think at this point we've flipped it over and we're starting to rub lemon on the back of it to see if we missed anything.
Boy. Where is Nicolas Cage and
I'm telling you in the blow dryer.
Let me tell you.
So Trump has softened his stance. Well, it says that he's softened his stance on migrant labor, but his Secretary of Agriculture sure doesn't sound that way. But again, MAGA is definitely upset about the Ukraine moves. And they're also upset about the Epstein files.
Oh my God. This is so good.
Dude.
So good. The infighting is so good.
I've been waiting to talk about this shit all day. With you.
I got a text. You ready for a show? I'm excited.
That was what I meant when I sent it to you too. I was like, I can't wait to talk about this shit.
I know. I laughed so hard. So hard.
Hey, what's up, Nova? Glad you could finally catch us.
Welcome to Alive, man. You didn't miss anything.
Or ma'am. or ma'am, we don't know.
Hey, you. No.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, it's insane how fast we went from, oh, we need to release the Epstein list and make sure that all these liberals and
He's
Democrats that are
one.
on it, yeah, there's Clintons and all of them, and now all of a sudden Donald Trump's like, you guys,
Willis.
we're still talking about this? Like,
Who?
huh?
Epstein.
That
Man,
creep?
I don't know. Epstein.
Called him a creep. Like, bitch, you want to fuck your own daughter? I've got the videos here.
I think actually one of the girls that he was would look like whatever.
Most of
Creep.
them.
Creep. Yeah, sure. Creep. We'll go with that. No, my favorite is Pam Bundy with all that egg on her face, man.
Oh,
I have
bro.
the list on my desk telling Fox News. Telling that thing is on repeat. I have it on my desk. We're going to look at it and we're going to go through blah,
I
blah,
would
blah.
never let it go.
Oh my
I would
God.
never
This
let
is-
it go.
And MAGA is walking away.
Not only that,
Some of these. What is this?
So I put this out this morning. So for those of you who don't know, why is it saying that? I don't want to promote. For those of you who don't know, Katie Johnson is the name of the woman who accused Donald Trump of raping her when she was 13 years old. And I like to just hang on to the court documents because, it comes in handy to fact check MAGA morons. And here you can see Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were the defendants. And I just said today, after finding out that Donald Trump is killing the Epstein list, that it really makes these court documents more believable. That it really makes the eyewitness accounts more believable. But then on top of it, I want to also remind y'all, we've got 30-minute video of this woman talking about what happened to her.
Right.
30 minutes of this woman going into detail. And it's like, you want me to believe that she's lying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's
nah.
wild, man. It's wild to think about. This is, I mean, when you have those court documents and everything there.
Yeah, it won't load.
Wild
It's crazy.
stuff. Wild stuff.
But it's like, it's after watching Trump say that, I was like, oh, it's much easier to believe that actually happened.
Well, to me, it's just that the fact that they amped it up for so long. And then even with the whole little phase one conversation with the influencers holding the binders and all this. And I'm sure it was just news clippings inside. Like,
I went
just,
at
like,
DC Drano. I was like, what was in the binder?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's sitting there, why aren't Democrats talking about the list not being released? I'm like, dude, you had the bitch. I got
Yeah.
photos of you with the little binder. You tell us what was in
What you
it.
got, bro? Show it. Show it. Talk about it. Put it
Yeah,
out
like
there.
you're playing politics bullshit. Like,
And
you actually have the list. You were in the Oval Office when this was all being talked about. How about you tell us?
And my favorite is like, then why is Homegirl in jail? Why is Max is it Maxwell? Why is she in jail?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Why is she in jail then if there's no list or no nothing? Why?
Exactly.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Like,
Because
they had evidence on her, or she wouldn't be in prison.
You know what I'm saying? But in general, what is it that you have? Because, and here's where it's putting MAGA in a situation. Either Trump is trying to protect the Clintons and other Democrats and other people, like-minded people, with a list that does exist, that he's claimed that they are whatever they are, and the whole Pizzagate and all this BS that they live by, being these mega cultists. Or Trump is on the list and he's protecting himself and the Clintons. Which one is it?
I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched to think that he could be protecting more than just his side.
Oh, well, this is not for you to decide as in question. This is for MAGA. Because, MAGA has ran with the idea that a Clinton is a pedophile and this and that. And,
yes.
and look at Bill Gates, and he's been on that plane how many times? It's like, okay, yeah, great. So then why is Trump protecting
Trump actually
them?
took the plane and campaigned with it.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. His plane didn't work, and they used, whose plane? Epstein's plane.
Now, let me ask you this. And matter of fact, everybody in the comments section, everybody listening to the show, just put it in the comments section. If you found out that Bill Clinton was on the Epstein list, would you make an excuse for him, or would you want to see accountability? Now, see, I don't even need you all to put it in there because I know that if you're listening to this show, that you're going to say that you would want to see accountability because it shouldn't matter what political party somebody belongs to. If you went out there and did a little kids, I want to see your ass in prison because it could have been my kid that was done to.
Right.
Now, if the only thing you have on Bill Clinton is Monica Lewinsky, well, you may not agree with it. You may think it was a little weird, sticking cigars in certain places, but it was still consensual.
Right.
May have cheated on his wife, may be a dirtbag person, but
Horrible
he wasn't graping her.
I'm sorry.
And then Juanita Broderick or whatever her freaking name is. I'm sorry, but if you're going to sit there and carry water for a literal sexual abuser every day while claiming that Bill Clinton raped you, like, I don't believe you.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't believe anybody that says that they were abused and then said that they voted for Trump.
Right.
I don't know how you.
Sounds like a person who likes to get grabbed by the pussy. For Bill Clinton, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, your horrible husband could balance a checkbook. You know what I mean? That's like his MO. You know what I mean? He's the only one who got us out of.
If it's blowjobs in the White House that we got to get again to balance the budget.
That's what we got with Clinton. So the only president in how many decades that we had a balanced budget?
DT, good point. She was of age too. Yeah. And again, was abuse of power? Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely abuse of power.
Yes.
Like he was a person in power that was going after an intern. Like,
yeah.
And she could have wanted it all. I'm sure she did. You know, I mean, the power in and of itself is what is attractive. But
that is true. That is true. Which makes me question a lot of people about the whole Diddy case, because they're really using that as well to weaponize.
I didn't even have that on the freaking.
And we don't have to because it's really grotesque to look at what what's unfolded about that. But the way people really look at Cassie.
No. Like, what's gross? What's the gross part?
The gross part is how people's reactions of where they're undermining Cassie, saying that it was all by her choice. Where they couldn't understand the fact of what the intimidation, what the isolation can do to an individual on a psychological level. And you're talking about having a jury of 8 men and 4 women have to sit here and understand what this young woman was going through, especially when you dangle entertainment in front of people where you could be the star. You could be this. I will make you this. I did, whatever, X, Y, and Z. But the amount of power. But that also goes to show you the amount of culture that Diddy built around himself.
Yeah.
That isolated and then insulated this type of situation. So and the part that gets me is that when he was getting caught, he said, I'm going to pay you off. And we talked about this in the last show.
Yep.
I'm going to pay you off. And if you're going to go that as far to say, I'm going to pay you off, you're comfortable doing so, you've done it before.
Yep.
This isn't your first rodeo. So there's a reality there. But that's the thing where you look at abuse of power. Anybody who uses celebrityism, the tragedy with R. Kelly Buns is, he picked on young black women, and that's why he got away with it for a long time. He knew nobody was coming to the rescue.
Yeah.
That's a reality. That's really a reality. So checks all the boxes. Not to digress. So please continue with whatever's popping off.
Let's see. What else? Oh, well, House Dems are demanding, Raskin, Goldman, that the DOJ release more Epstein materials. So we'll see if anything comes of that. But like you said, is it only Republicans that are being protected by that list not coming out? Doubtful.
I just want MAGA to just really take us all in. Because I've seen a lot. I've seen the revolt.
Oh, they're melting down, bro.
And they're filming it.
Melting down.
And they're filming it. I watched it.
I saw one, she was crying.
The one that got me was the one who put all his MAGA stuff out. And he grabbed it all up and he just threw it away in the dumpster. He's like, I'm fucking done. I am over this. I go, woo. Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's
happening. It's happening.
I didn't think it'd be Epstein that would break the camel's back, but here we are.
But honestly, looking back now, now that we're seeing the effects and we can look back at what was being said and what was happening leading up to it, it's like they they really bid on that.
Yeah.
They thought it was going to hurt liberals
Right.
more than it was going to hurt conservatives, and they wanted it released.
Right.
And they defended Trump, and so for him to just now be so dismissive about it, people are like, oh, hell no.
Well, his response was just so off. You know,
Well, I mean, it's defensive. It was a defensive response.
to hijack.
We're still talking about this with everything going on. Texas.
Yeah.
It's like, bitch, you don't care about Texas.
What were you doing when this was happening? You were golfing.
Licking
Shut
a
up.
fucking ice cream cone, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I really don't like that, man. I really don't.
But you speak so well.
Like, and like the president didn't even know what to fucking say.
No, he knew what to say. He knew.
He just didn't say it.
He said, "You ain't gonna catch me on World Star." Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
tell you
true.
right now, man. I'm gonna tell you right now.
He ain't
Black
catching
folks
me
ain't
on
getting
World
black
Star.
folks ain't getting caught in these streets right now. I thought you knew. He got the memo.
He
He got the
apparently he
memo.
did.
He said
Apparently
black
he
people
did.
ain't protesting right now, y'all. This is your lesson to learn. I'm not here to entertain this man. I'm not gonna end up like Zelensky on fucking stage where you guys are playing this clip 24/7. I'm good.
Speaking of learning lessons, Pam Bondi should really learn that sometimes your conversation is being recorded and you don't know it. Here's an example for you.
When the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So-
Any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
She said thousands
At
of
a
videos of little kids. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They recorded her while she was at a restaurant
Someone caught her just sitting there.
having a conversation and they had somebody recording it.
I'm a nobody, and I know to shut the fuck up when you are in a restaurant, especially here in New York, to
Yep.
understand that anybody and everybody could be recording you at any time.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Who just
Like I
said
said,
that?
she has egg on her face, man. She just looks ridiculous.
I posted that, Peggy, just last night. I said the guy's still talking about the 2020 election being stolen from him, wants America to move on from the Epstein list. That should raise your eyebrows.
Wow. That's wild.
Oh, shit. Can't make it up. Can't make it up.
Well, the base is definitely upset. I think even Alex Jones was crying in his car, recorded a video.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
You know?
Another crying video.
He done
Like the
broke
Jordan
another
memes.
white man. This is a tragic day for America.
Yep, Bannon. They're all pissed. So the next up is AI impersonation is becoming a problem.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, somebody used AI-generated messages and voice to pose as Secretary of State Marco Rubio, reaching out to foreign diplomats and public officials.
Stop. Stop. Is that where we're at right now? Stop.
Oh, that's where we're at, bro.
His little squeaky voice.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna start a whole trade war. Watch this.
I mean, I think we already did.
Yeah, we don't need AI for that. Yeah,
shit.
probably
outta
need AI
here.
to fix this shit.
Is that why Trump's sending out letters versus memos? Like as in like voice notes?
Well, my thing is like he's something about like this letter acts as a deal
decree.
or something
It's
like
like a
that. It was like, bitch.
He thinks he's a king. This bitch thinks he's a king.
And I literally I said on Brian's show too. I was like, who the fuck? I was like, who does he think he
His
is?
letters, man. They're
Like-
literally tangible tweets.
Now
is
let
what
me
this is.
ask you this. Now let's say the UK sent
Okay.
a letter to the president of the United States and said, we're going to give 50% tariffs on this, unless you do this, and that. And basically, this letter serves as the deal. And if I don't hear back from you, I'll just assume that you accept it. Have a nice day.
Sounds like what started the Revolutionary War.
We tell them to go fuck themselves.
I'm just gonna be dead serious. It sounds
So
like
why
what led
do we
to the
not
Tea Party.
expect everybody to tell us to go fuck ourselves?
It's amazing to me. But the fact that he thinks he can rule the world by decrees. It's you speak such a good English. Where'd you learn that from?
Like,
Like,
do
it's
you
just- it
realize
just
what
blows you.
so many countries watch that and are
Yeah.
going, what?
Yeah.
Like, this man is stupid as fuck.
And really these tariffs that he just put on Japan and South Korea. Thank you, Anthony, for this. It's really interesting to see kind of what pressure he's going to put on everybody, especially with the fact that Japan sends so many automobiles here, right?
Well, again, I think we're allowing this man to fuck with way too many of our trade partners. And I really do hope that, when we finally get rid of Trump, whenever that time comes, whether it be through God or fucking the Senate,
Or gravity.
yeah,
I'm rooting for
whatever.
gravity.
Yeah, at this point, I don't care. I just hope that we're able to really repair, some of these trade relationships that we had, because look, guys, a global economy is not magically going to go away because we don't like certain things about it.
No.
We live in a global economy, and if we shut that down, like, we're all going to suffer. And that's literally what Trump's trying to do. And
We're going to suffer.
So, I mean, we're all going to be suffering here anyway.
Like,
but
we really
how
do
bad it is going to be, it's kind of up in the air right now.
We really think that we are the center of gravity, right?
Yeah.
Especially within the world, and we don't realize how we fit in the ecosystem. And it's going to be a rude awakening. And depending on, excuse me, what data does come out over the next year in general about elections, and that's me more talking about, smart elections and election Truth Alliance, and what their findings kind of shed light to.
Yeah.
The world has to look at us, the citizens, of like, you did this, like, you're voting for this.
Yeah. This is what you voted for.
And it's not about just Trump. It's like, this is what the American people are voting for. So how do we put faith into you as a society if this is the path you choose to go down?
Yeah.
Talking to more so the liberal left. If this is to be that Trump won fair and square and there's no tabulation, manipulation, anything, you guys have to look at yourselves and understand Jill Stein is not the answer come 2028.
And she'll be out there.
I'm looking at the liberal left and I'm saying to you, you need to get in line and vote like your life depends on it, because this is proving exactly that.
Yeah.
We don't have enough room to fight to see who can be more left than the left.
Yeah.
We are in it together. We can have arguments and debates and negotiation when in power. But to sit here and argue and have a battle like this, where we watch literally lemmings line up with their red hats, and the fact that they don't care about any data, they don't care about global warming, they don't care about measles, the fact that shit's back, they don't care about the fact that here we are on a global level, they just want to isolate. That's what you're going up against. But they want to talk about those three little, athletes that are playing that maybe will or won't they have a record, like really like it matters. But yet we have all these now dead or missing children.
Yeah.
In Texas. This is where the elections really do matter. And if you want to sit out and protest, that sounds like you're that sounds more like the fact that you have what would be the word? That's your privilege speaking. To have a protest vote, to have this sit out, you're not thinking about the person who actually needs the service, the person who's on SNAP, the person who is a single mother, the person who is younger and can't actually vote. You're not thinking bigger than yourself. And this is the part where I'm challenging everybody to show up and to bring the heat, because this is what it's going to really come down to. If we are going to rectify, because Ryan, I will say this to you. I'm very happy to see what the Supreme Court is doing. I'm very happy to see them unraveling all of these things that were red tape for Biden, red tape for Obama, because the next person who comes in, may that be a AOC, may that be a Jasmine Crockett, may that be Kamala 2.0. I'm not going to rule her out. May that be somebody, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, somebody that's on the back burner who is in the roster on the bench. They will have unlimited power too. And this is the part where we push them for the universal health care. We push them for the student loan forgiveness. Completely wipe it out. Wipe it all out. Done. Day one. Remove any and every obstacle in your way because of now this supreme power that Trump has to remove federal workers. Do whatever you want. Put 5,000 new IRS members that are only looking into the billionaires. You know, you can do whatever you want. And no judge in Texas can say, I'm stopping this. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Because now that pendulum has swung the other way. And this is the part where I'm just thinking about what Project 2028 looks like. And we're coming with vengeance. Yep. This is going to be a list of demands for how to rebuild America, where it works for everybody.
It would be 13, Anthony. It's got to be an odd number. Yeah. So, and for, again, it's just
I'm with
news.
Anthony. Fuck that. You do whatever you want, man. That's it.
Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has greenlit mass federal layoffs. So they've approved plans for widespread federal agency layoffs under Trump's second term, affecting hundreds of thousands of workers.
Yep. Anybody's on the chopping block.
Told you.
We already
fucking
knew this
told
was coming.
you.
Yeah. Yep. And it's one of those things where you're looking at this, that he's going to get rid of whoever. I'm telling you right now, the government's going to be an empty shell. They're going to remove a lot of people. They're going to privatize a lot of things, as we've always talked about, Ryan.
Yep. Stop paying your student loans. Department of Defense or Department of Education doesn't exist anymore. Tell them to go fuck themselves.
It's going to be really interesting to see.
Seriously, send them a letter. Say, sorry, you got rid of the department. Go fuck yourselves. It's like a business that went out of business. Fuck you.
Liquidation sale. It's going to be,
I'll buy my debt back for two pennies on the dollar.
Bro, the fact that you could own your own data. Here we go. Let me buy back my own debt.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But no, it's scary times, and you said something about privilege. It's not lost on me that I get to sit, in my home and have the privilege that I have, why a lot of Americans are struggling.
Yeah.
I said it was our wedding anniversary this past week, and I said that in a post that I did about my wife that, things are just crazy, and I'm just very fortunate to have the life that I have, and it's weird sometimes looking around and seeing how unsettled a lot of other folks are, struggling to figure out where they're gonna, get food from,
Right.
if they're gonna put gas in their car. All sorts of things, and to have the peace and contentment that I have here at home, it's just, it's a privilege right now, because so many people are struggling. So many people are looking at losing their jobs because, of let's call it what it is. It's just political cuts. Right. To make Trump look good for really no other reason. They don't even know what they're cutting. They don't know what you do. They don't know what your job is.
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what the bills are. He doesn't even
know
what his...
And the 5 bullet points that you're going to send in every week or every month isn't going to tell them the scope of your job and what you bring every day. They're just going to get rid of your job because a bean counter said that was a good idea. So that's where we're at right now. And when we have a government that doesn't care about the people, that doesn't care if you lose your job, doesn't care if you lose your Medicaid, doesn't care if you lose food stamps, they don't care. They don't care if transgender kids live or die.
Right.
They don't care if your kids starve at school. They don't care if your kids die because they don't have medical coverage. This is where we're at, folks. This isn't a joke. It was a joke 4 years ago, 2 years ago, when we were like, no way this guy get back in. And we were cracking jokes about it. Well, it actually happened. So joking time's over. This dude is literally costing American lives. Yeah. People are dying because of Trump and his administration, and they're deregulating and everything else they're doing. And the Supreme Court, if you haven't noticed, is assisting him in this endeavor. So, I don't care if it's the America Party that Elon's trying to launch, or a party that Ian and I come up with, or if it's just independents that all leave political parties and we all just decide to vote for whoever, whatever the movement has to be, we need to figure something out, because the road that we're going down right now, it's not just slippery, it's steep, and there's no stopping.
Right.
Like, we have to figure something out. And this agenda that they have of us going at each other, that's what they want. They want us yelling at each other about stupid shit, about transgender athletes, fucking 5 of them.
Right.
Like, that's what we're arguing about. While simultaneously, you got people losing Medicaid. You got kids losing food out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about stuff.
Are homeless.
Yeah,
homeless.
Reality. Let's talk about the shit that matters.
Yeah. It's wild to me, man, that you see what hijacks the news.
Yep.
And I've given up all hope on news. Like, I really do see them
it's-
just, squirrel. Like, that's it. They can't.
They're chasing
they
likes.
can't.
They're chasing likes.
Constantly. And I sit here, and that's why I really do appreciate about this show that we're giving enough space to a lot of topics that need to be aired out.
Yeah.
And to build directly with the community that is here. And if you guys are new, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Hold the mic. We're going to go through some changes. We'll break down some of the background of what's happening, but this is the community that we're trying to build to really let people know, like, there is a movement of us, regardless of who you voted for. Am I going to rag on you for voting for MAGA? Yes, I am. But that's okay. Humility is great. It's great, and you apparently like to be, a simp, and that's a reality. You know what I mean? So it's okay to be here and to hear about yourself. And so it's one of those things where you think about how we build off of what's in front of us, what's next. How do we tackle this, and how do we look past Jill Stein? Because she's coming again.
Mm-hmm.
She is just the chaos candidate that is there to take off just enough that toss this up into anybody's game.
Yeah.
And she's a waste. Because I don't see her in Texas. I don't see her doing anything. A lot of the maggots are talking about, we'll leave Abbott alone and leave Cruz alone. Where's Jasmine Crockett? Jasmine Crockett raised $25 million for those.
She's out there hustling.
$25 million. She raised $25 million for the people, and that just happened. So she's out there. She's doing her thing.
Yeah, her star is rising quick.
Yeah.
Yep. So you brought it up. Let's end the show on this. You brought up measles.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about it because, number one, I hate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., so any chance I get to call him a fucking douchebag, I'll take it. So, we could just talk about, the measles and my awesome decision to, cut out, vaccines and science and, everybody that knows what the fuck they're doing. Excuse me, the brainworm's talking to me again. Fuck this dude.
I love your impersonation, because I really am thinking about myself about how he got rid of that whole table.
Vaccine. He got rid of the whole vaccine committee and hired a bunch of fucking loyalists to come in and be like, that's a great idea.
He got influencers pretty much just to sit in so bad, man. It's like, how do I trust the CDC?
Did you instantly know that I was banging my head against a wall, like, when you read that?
It's hard. It's hard.
Like, Ryan's over there giving himself CTE against a fucking brick wall right now. Oh, God. So for those of you who may not know, the United States has now recorded more confirmed measles cases this year than in any year in well over a quarter of not decade, century. 2025, and almost just past the halfway mark. On Wednesday, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported that the number of confirmed measles cases in the country had risen to 1,288, exceeding the 1,274 cases reported in 2019 to become the highest single-year total since the United States declared measles eliminated in 2000. And again, just for those of you keeping track, we still have another 6 months to go. The country has not recorded so many confirmed measles cases in a single year since 1992, when 2,126 cases were recorded. That was just a few years after a sharp spike in cases among vaccinated children led the CDC and its expert vaccine panel to advisory committee on immunization practices to conclude that children should be vaccinated with 2 doses of the vaccine against measles. Right. In the early years of measles vaccination, the vaccine was given in a single dose. After the 2-dose policy was adopted in 1989, annual measles cases quickly declined to very low levels. The 2-dose regimen has been shown to be about 97% effective at preventing infection. By 2000, measles was declared eliminated, but that seems to be going the opposite way now.
It's wild to me that we have data. Like literally, it's like, here's the data.
Yeah.
We had it.
Now argue that.
We had it. We decreased it. We lost it. And then people want to sit here and say, well, I don't think I trust that. And it's just like, what is there?
I like Bunny's question. How exactly is allowing measles to spread making America healthy again? We'd love to know.
It really, to me, it's just like, what do we have against actual data of like, we eradicated this?
RFK wants to inject saline instead of a real vaccine. So he wants to inject them with placebo. Yeah. This is a part I'm
that
literally
freaks me
more
out.
qualified than he is for that job.
Well,
I'm not qualified.
The thing is, like, your kids are good, right? Your kids are good. They're vaccinated for measles, all this other stuff. I have a newborn that's too young to get a measles shot. And measles is here in New York. And so like that is literally living rent free in our heads. Like we're like, okay. And I mean, I am the type of person to go John Q on this administration.
Great movie.
Great story. And how I really feel.
Yeah.
If something happens to this baby boy, there's going to be problems. Especially when it's like, it could be prevented. It could be prevented.
Yeah.
This is, again, one of those situations just like Texas.
Well,
it can be prevented.
But again, you don't have to take your shoes off at the airport anymore. You guys serious? Like, there's reasons for these regulations. Yeah. There's reasons we do things certain ways.
Right.
Like, they're walking everything back.
Yeah.
And most of it is for money. Like, most of it's for
privatize
money.
And do whatever else. And it's
exactly.
like, yeah, because you guys don't think
the no shoes thing, I think that's just some kind of stupid red meat to distract from something else.
Of course. There's always one for the base,
Yeah. That's what that felt like today.
You know what I mean? It's not one of those things. And you know what? Fuck it. We're going to get on that plane a lot faster. Let's go. And mistakes will be made. And let's see what happens.
Please don't have anything in your shoe.
You know what I mean?
And by the way, it doesn't have to be a bomb. It could be a knife. Like, I don't think people understand what you can slide in the sole of a shoe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's going to be the real question. Are they now examining shoes?
A 3D printed knife. Yeah.
It's so wild.
Like, I literally started going through, if I was a criminal, what would I be doing? What could I put in a shoe?
Pete Hegseth, man, he's having a flask in his shoe. That's what it is.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so if you don't have your measles vaccination, please go get it. And stay away from stupid MAGA people, and hopefully you won't catch it.
But they're leaving. I don't know how fast. I don't know how far, but they are leaving.
Not fast enough.
Well,
speaking of, let's get into our positives. And for those of you watching, this is our summer wrap-up show.
Yeah.
So we're going to be off. I believe it's 5 weeks. I think we're going to be off. It's either 4 or 5 weeks.
We'll let you guys know with a fun ad of when we're coming back, because we'll see how the transition is.
Well, that said, do you want to go ahead and give them your positive, or?
I'll tell them this, you guys, it's been a long time coming, but it's official. This is my last show in Brooklyn, New York, which is actually bittersweet. I love Brooklyn.
It's end of an era on the show.
It's the end of an era. We started the show in Brooklyn and Tucson, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now some changes are happening. My family and I, we are moving to Hawaii. And I'll be saying aloha, motherfuckers, to all of you. Let me tell you. And we will be taking this break to not only facilitate the move, but also to get acclimated and to figure out what life is like in this beautiful, beautiful culture. I love Hawaii. I've been there a number of times, but a lot of respect for the culture, and just to get set up and figure out how to mobilize with the time difference and everything with Ryan. So we're going to use this time to set up shop, reboot the show. How do we do things? And then we'll be figuring out what day, what time, all this stuff. Is it live? Is it going to be recorded? And then we'll do special shows. We're figuring a lot of things out.
Yeah.
But the positive is end of an era and seeing my kids grow up and lose their shit as being ex-city kids, my little Beastie Boys, to now growing up and being, one with the land, and get them kayaking and get them just like really to fall in love. Surfing, kayaking, hiking. I really want them to fall in love with the planet, and I want them, because in my mind, they're going to be the next generation. Really fighting for it, really advocating for making sure that that's not going to be drill, baby, drill. That it's going to be something that is worth it for everybody. So we're looking at the next steps, but Hawaii is directly on the horizon. So I'm really looking forward to
gave his notice today and everything.
Gave my notice for the old job, turning the page, and it's definitely really amazing to see the changes that are upon us. So aloha, it's happening.
And I've known about it for months, but we've just been waiting for the final word. So no,
you've been there from the beginning, man.
Totally excited, and also shout out to your old employers for being cool. I said to you before you gave your notice that good employers are always happy to see their somebody move on to something better. And so I was really happy that it was a good experience, because sometimes giving notice sucks. And just make sure I have a queen size bed in my room.
King, actually, in the guest size, guest room.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
And that means Jen can stay.
Oh, your whole family. Bring the dog. Fuck it. Bring everybody.
Oh, hey, man.
It's
you got to tell us twice.
Yeah, the way we're going to have it set up, it's going to be a lot of fun, but we're going to have a guest room that is supposed to be the principal room. And Elizabeth and I are like, it's too far away from the babies. So we can't just move across the world and some, and then separate ourselves. We're in this tiny shoebox of New York. So it's like, it's going to be too much space.
Yeah.
For us.
You're going to love it.
It's gonna be great. But there will be a room when you guys are ready. Come on out.
Oh, we're coming.
Oh,
I've never been. I've never been to Hawaii.
You never been? Oh,
no.
Oh yeah. What? We'll be shooting a special from Hawaii.
Oh,
Let's
dude,
just say that.
That's what I'm like. Oh, the Hawaii special is gonna be fucking fire.
Can't wait to have you. I did. I texted you when I was in Phoenix. I was like, I'm in your state. I'm going to Hawaii, and I was like, not here long. See you later on.
I know. I was like, how long are you there? I was like, shit, I can drive up.
Boarding right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I called you as I was boarding.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But no.
What's your positive, my man?
My positive is you getting the job.
Yeah.
Fucking. No. But I really am. I'm excited for what's coming. I know when we started the conversation, it was about would we be able to continue doing what we were doing? If you took this job.
Yeah.
And, that's the beautiful part of what we're doing is, it's virtual. We can take this wherever,
right.
As long as there's an internet connection, we're good.
That's
and
right.
So that's been the greatest part of building this with you, is that I know it's something that we can mold and make work however we have to keep it going.
Very fluid. It's really
good. Yeah. So, and we have such a great community that they're going to, support this and make it work and be happy for your family and everything. I'm excited for your kids, probably more than anything. I got to live on a tropical island for a few years in Okinawa, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. So I'm totally excited for your kids to just be able to, spend some years, on a tropical island.
Yeah.
They're going to get spoiled. They're going to come back to the States and be like, what is this bullshit?
I know we ain't moving back to an apartment after this. I already know. I'm looking at my wife like, you are never moving back.
You ain't going back to an apartment once you're in a house like that.
I gotta now elevate from this. Okay, so here we are.
Exactly.
So
but no, happy for you, man, and excited for the show and what we're going to do moving forward. My positive is, like I said, this past week was our 13th anniversary. Been together 14 years.
Man.
And I'm just, like I said earlier, it's the piece that we've built in our house. It's addicting.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it makes you want to stay home, especially in these turbulent times, because it's your safe space.
Right.
And Jen is my safe space. You know, and I tell everybody, being married to a bipolar person isn't fun, especially when that bipolar person isn't medicated yet or hasn't figured out exactly what was going on. And that was what my wife had to go through.
Yeah.
You know, she had to take that ride with me of what the hell's going on. Let's figure it out. And I said in my post that I did on our anniversary, I said, a lot of women would have left me and taken the kids, you know, and I don't want to make it sound like I was like crazy losing my shit, but you know, like I said, it's not
bipolar.
easy dealing. Yeah.
Bipolar.
You're bipolar. It sucks. And it can be hell on friendships, relationships, definitely marriages. 'Cause your spouse ends up being the one person that you're yourself with. And unfortunately, when you're bipolar, it's like they're seeing you shut down.
Right.
You know, they're seeing all the negative sides of the bipolar. You know, they're watching you like get depressed, shut down, isolate in your room, you know, all that stuff. And that's tough on a marriage. But the one thing my wife told me, because I did tell her that. I said, my biggest fear is you're going to leave me and take the kids. And she told me, she goes, I will never leave you as long as you're going to therapy and you're trying. That's literally what she told me.
That's solid. That's solid.
And it was like, she's like, as long as you're trying, she's like, I'm not going anywhere. And I remember, I think I'd been in therapy for like 2 or 3 months at that point. Like, you know, so I was trying, but the meds that they had put me on first weren't really doing much. Like I didn't feel any different. So it was a really like frustrating time. And so, but to have a woman or spouse, to have someone in your life that can take that one concern off the table.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm not going anywhere. Just figure your shit out. And that was her position. You know, it wasn't always great, you know, and it wasn't always delivered with sugar on it, but it was just like, just go figure your shit out. And I'm so thankful that, you know, I talk to the kids now and they don't remember. Like they don't remember dad struggling when they were 2, you know? So it's like, I'm so thankful I figured all of that out, you know, before they got old enough to really remember dad. So they don't remember the manic, you know, times and all that shit. They
At
remember,
least right now, it's suppressed.
Well, I
That
mean,
might happen.
But here's the thing too, talking about my wife,
Yeah.
Jen, when I was going through it, she was really good at keeping the kids away from me because she knew that I didn't want them to see me like that.
Yep.
And she also knew that if I accidentally yelled at them and started taking it out on them, that I would beat myself up.
Right.
Like way hard. So because she knew those two things, she like her job was when dad's not feeling great, we're going to make sure the kids don't see that.
And buffer.
And that's where the isolation came in, right?
Yeah.
But once we figured everything out, like around 2019, it was just like, and I've told you this, and I think I've said it on the show, it took a while for the Jen was always waiting for the shoe to drop. She was always waiting for the manic episode, you know, and it really did take her probably about 12 months to realize like they weren't coming and that I could manage everything now. And again, I'm not saying it's all perfect. I'm still bipolar, still have the ups and downs. They're just nowhere near as bad as they were. And you and I've talked about, like, you watch a Ryan rant, you know, if you just take that clip, it's very easy to go, oh, this dude's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But what you got to focus on is, what does he say 30 seconds after that? And when somebody can just instantly go back down to zero emotionally and go back into an intellectual conversation, that's somebody who has emotional control.
Right.
And that's something I didn't always have.
So high EQ, 100%.
Right. So to have a spouse that, like, you talk about a ride or die and everything that we've been through, and, you know, like when we left, I almost had to leave my dog. And I remember telling her, I was like my car got repoed. Like we're almost losing the house. Like I can't lose the dog too. Yeah. And she went through hell to make sure that I could go get the dog and bring it back to Arizona. And, you know, she did that for me because she knew that I would not have been emotionally okay, like ever, if I had to give up Luna. And
that's animals too, right? That's
dude, it
spirit,
totally.
that's
And
spiritual
I know that
connection.
don't make me like.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of us being
Yeah.
animal owners, but you
Yeah.
know, what was heartwarming was the lengths that she went to make sure that we did get to bring her home.
That's right.
And, you know, and at the time we were struggling financially. Like we didn't know if we were going to be able to, you know, pay for the plane ticket for me to go pick her back up. Like it was a rough time.
A lot of ramen noodle nights is what we call that.
Bro,
A lot of ramen
you know,
noodle.
well, it was a lot of making sure the kids had food first.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, so I realize how blessed and fortunate we are now and everything, but I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be as stable as I am, you know, without my wife supporting me along this journey and just being like, hey, I can hold the fort down, you know, in those times where you got to focus on you.
Yeah.
And that is a blessing that, you know, I'll never be able to repay. So just celebrating, you know, our marriage and just our relationship as a whole. Like I said, man, a lot of women, they probably would have bounced and taken the kids at one point. And I never forget that.
100%.
That it's really special to have somebody in your life that is willing to take that journey with you. And you have the same thing with your wife. You know, here you guys are, you're packing your stuff up, selling some things, figuring out what part of your life you want to take with you to Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, I told her we're not bringing Brooklyn with us. We're starting off fresh, but my wife would leave me with the kids for a lot less. So, you know, there's certain things that I gotta make sure that I tiptoe around that one. So, you know, she's a Spitfire, let me tell you.
Well,
but
mine's
I
a
see
Spitfire too, but
I see. Well, like I said, leave me for a lot less. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Ma Dukes, my mom, she's a wrote to you specifically, but
you know,
her sister-
and it's funny you say that because my wife and I were just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's like there's bipolar 1 and bipolar 2, right? So bipolar 1 is pretty serious. Like that's it's a lot harder to manage. I'm bipolar 2. So I always joke around and say if you're going to be bipolar, I got the one you want.
Yeah.
You know, you tend to be more depressed. You know, your manics aren't quite as insane. Like manic for bipolar 1, like it's life destroying kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
And like for me, bipolar 2, like it's like bad financial decisions, you know, lots of other things, but it's never quite as erratic as bipolar 1. Me personally, it manifests a lot more as depression usually. Like depression, not being able to get up and function as good as I normally do, that kind of stuff. But again, with the medication, those days have been cut down so much that, you know, but our relationship too, the ability that I've had in the few days where I've had a bad day on show days and I've called you up and said, hey man, you know, I'm struggling today, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, cool, I got it. You know, and it's like being able to tell your business partner, like, hey, you may need to pick up the slack on the show a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
And for you to just like no questions, no bullshit, no whatever, you'd be like, got you. And that's all it is. And so again, it's just to be able to be open with what you deal with and have people in your life that are like understanding and like, I got you. It's like, I'm just very thankful for that. And we have a lot of those people in the community too.
Which I was say, it's a huge testament to you, you know, for the people that you attract, you know, and you have a part of that, you know, who you are, what you've contributed, how you treat people. Like a lot of those factors are
they like
things that
assholes.
You know, everybody has one. You know what I mean? Everybody has one. So some have two, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. But it's,
no,
you know,
man,
but it's really been an amazing ride. This
It
whole
has,
thing's been an
man.
amazing ride. And I tell actually, I'm gonna challenge some folks. Go back and watch some of the episodes and see the difference between Ryan and I, and see how we have really gone through. It's really amazing to see how much we've grown.
You know, it's funny you said that because some of the clips have been coming up on Facebook, like the year anniversary.
Yeah.
And I've watched a couple of them. I'm like, thank God we got better.
Some things have elevated.
Yeah, we've
Some things have
elevated our
not,
game a
as
little
you know.
bit. Yeah, some things stay the same. But no, I mean, think about some of the people that we've had on, man. We've had
Yeah.
Marcus Flowers, Malcolm Nance.
Nance, yep.
We had Election Truth. We've had Election Truth Alliance on twice.
Shout out to
Brian
David.
Shapiro,
Yep.
Sadia.
Yep.
Like we've had so many really good people on. Adam Swart, he just came on.
Yes.
So I mean,
That was really a great episode about the paid protesters. That
yeah,
really
it
great,
was,
great,
and I'm gonna cut. I'm
knowledgeable.
gonna cut that actually next
Yeah.
week to make it its standalone episode because I think that was a great episode as well.
Yeah.
But the point being, go look back at the last like 10 episodes. We've been bringing on really good people. They've been bringing great information to share, and that's what we wanted to pivot when we started this second season of the show. That was the one question Ian kept asking going into it is, what do we want to make the show moving forward? And we said we wanted to bring good people on, share information with the community, help educate it a little bit, and make people laugh along the way.
Yeah.
And I think that we've done a really good job of doing that in this second season. And like you said, I know we've already started talking about the changes we want to make and improvements we want to do already. So I look forward to what we're going to bring to the table for season 3. And I just got to say, man, as happy as I am for my marriage, I'm happy for this marriage too.
Yeah,
and I actually said that in my post. One of the things Jen kept telling me for 2 years, I kept having failed business relationships.
Keep getting you a bald brother that just holds you down. That's
Yep.
what she said. That's what verbatim.
Word for word. And she was right. So, but she did. She kept telling me, she's like, you know what? She's like, you're going to find the right person. And when you do, she's like, it'll be good. And she just kept telling me that. And every time that, you know, something would fail or something wouldn't go the right way, she'd be telling me, she's like, you're going to find the right person. And I'm so thankful that I finally found the right person and that we've been able to build this together and that we're able to take it and mold it and make it ours and do what we want with it and educate everybody. But
little did you know, you met that person when I was 15.
Yep, we met long
fucking
ago.
Groomer. There it is.
So I mean, you never know where we're gonna end up, man.
It's one of those things. We met each other a long time ago, but we were always in each other's circle. You know, in some way. And I told you, I called you. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, you know, someone was talking about don't work with friends, and I go, you know, what's interesting is that Ryan and I've always had a very professional type friendship, where we were always looking at how do we elevate each other.
Yeah.
It was never a thing of like competition or this or that. I've never been like, oh, I got some stuff, buy it from me. It was always like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And it's always paid forward. And it's one of those things where I've always thought about that. We have always been encouraging each other to succeed through life.
It really hadn't, you know, I never really looked at it that way, but you're right. It really has always been that way.
You know, I don't have any stories where we're like, we got crazy and did stupid stuff together. Like we don't have stories like that.
No, we don't.
Stories of elevation.
You know, and you know, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's
until Hawaii. We'll have some bad stories from there.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun though. We'll create some good ones. Man, this show gets me through my hump day night shift. You two are the best. Oh, thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
You guys work so well together. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I mean, and again, without you guys, you know, we wouldn't have anything. We'd just be out here talking to ourselves like the first 5 shows.
Hey, still some of the best stuff, man.
Yeah, we got fun. We had 5 people watching. We were like, woohoo. So no, shout out to everybody that is amplifying our voices. You know, Ian's growing on Instagram every day. He's dropped new music on Spotify, so make sure you can go check that out. And again, please go check out the previous episodes. We've had some really good guests on, done some really good shows. So go check those out while we're on break. But that's probably what I'm most thankful for is all of you, everybody downloading the podcast, everybody that actually gives a shit about our country, that cares about what's happening, that sees what's happening, that wants to be engaged, that wants to find out more about other politicians and their platforms. Because remember, folks, you don't only have to support the politicians in your state. If you love somebody like Jasmine Crockett and realize that she's fighting for a lot more than Texans and you want to go send her $50, go send her $50.
Right.
You know, you can, if you see a politician out there that you want to see in power, send them money because that's what they need. I know we're all struggling. You know, $5 is $5, but if you've got it, try to send it to the politicians that you want to see win these midterms, because that, besides dragging Trump out of there by his ankles, is really one of the only ways that we have to fix this.
That's right.
So support the people that you want to see in office. Send them money if you can. Share their stuff. That's what I want to see you guys do over the next 5 weeks. And we will be sending you photos of Hawaii, making you all jealous, letting you know when we will be back.
There'll be some new content for me.
Yeah, he's going to be on the beach, and I'm going to be pissed off. So we will see you all in 5 weeks. Thank you all, as always, for the support. We love you to death.
Yeah.
As always, though, much love. Keep fighting. Most importantly, stay safe out there.